believe that you're not being served to speak to the gazetted officer who actually manned that space. And get your pen and paper out so that you can write down these contact information. And there are a lot of things that you're going to learn today: how to apply for a police record, how to do this, how to do that. So just stay tuned on today's program as we spread awareness of the St. Andrew South division within this space. You can also listen live on rootsjamaica.com. Go follow us on Facebook. That's Roots FM. Follow us on Instagram at Roots96.1 FM underscore Jamaica, and on Twitter at Roots underscore 96 FM. The program is brought to you by New Budget Supplies, always the best prices. Let us work together to create better communities and build our Vision 2030. Vision 2030, for making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and do business. So, the St. Andrews South Division is working with you to create Vision 2030, and your children, which is our Child's Month this month, and it is Step Up, Speak Out, Protect Our Children Rights. So the police have a lot to do with that aspect of it also, to protect the children rights. So we have to work together to make sure that our children, your children, the division children, the community children, because we all work together for the children who are the future for us. So if we don't create a bright future, then it's going to be a very dull one. So it depends on what we really put in our children, then we're going to get the results of the future. So it's important that we take time out to recognize what it is that we're teaching our children, and how is it that we are going to empower them with good knowledge so that they can become better citizens for the future. Because whether we like it, yes or no, we're going to leave soon, and they are the future. And whether we believe it, yes or no, that is going to happen soon. Because I can remember when my mom and dad was a leader, and now I've grown up, and they are not here, and I'm here, and I know that the lighting is going to strike the same place. So I'll be leaving, and the children will be coming. So if we have not recognized that that's the circle of life, then something is wrong, because you would have been around and you would have seen that your ancestors, some you lucky enough to bless your eyes on, some you just heard about them, and you are now the generation. So the cycle is the same as for our children, the citizens' children, the division children, the island children. So we have to recognize that and give it our best shot so that they know within themselves that they are the future generation for themselves and for us. Once again, this is St. Andrews South Baet. All right. First of all, let me tell you, we have our commander for the St. Andrews South Division, who is acting Senior Superintendent of Police, Damien Mandison. And when we talk about the St. Andrews South Division, we're talking about Hunts Bay. So persons who are living in Hunts Bay, persons who are living in the Duane Park space, Marvally, Drewsland, persons who are living in those areas, Prembocall, Plantation Heights, that is in the Duane Park area. We're talking about New Haven. We're talking about place like those areas. Persons who are living in the Seaview Gardens area. Persons who are living in the Olympic Garden area, which include Waterhouse and so forth. That is what the St. Andrews South space is all about. The St. Andrews South Division. So when you hear persons talking about St. Andrews South Division, all those areas and more, that's what they're talking about. And 3 Mile area, all of those space, the 6 Mile area, all of those space belongs to the St. Andrews South Division, and that area is manned by our number one person, who is the commander for the St. Andrews South space, who is an acting senior superintendent of police, Damian Mandison. Now, if you're having challenges and you want to speak directly to that person, acting senior superintendent Damian Mandison, you can always call him on 876-832-9082. That's 876-832-9082. Now, if you're gonna call the acting senior superintendent, then it must be about a challenge that you're having in the space, and the police is not. You don't believe that you're getting enough from the police. Then you have the opportunity to call him. If you believe that there's a situation that is happening within your space, then you have the opportunity to call him. If you see something and you want to tell somebody, but you really don't want to tell the regular police on the ground, sorry, then you have the opportunity to call him and let him know what you are seeing and the help that is needed within the space. If you have called the police, if you have the noise happening and the police come and you don't believe that they're turning it off, and you have to go to work in the morning and it's stressing you out, you have the opportunity to call him. So sometimes if you call the police and they come, and by the time they're gone, there is noise still, then you have the opportunity to call him. I reassure you that when the police come the second time after your call, the noise will be long gone. So it's an opportunity for you to reinforce all your needs. So doesn't mean that as you get something happen, like somebody destroy your furniture, you call him first. No, you have to go to the station and make a report to say that this is what the police have a responsibility to take your report, your statement, everything, and then put you before the court, arrest and charge a person. If it is that during the course of you going to the station, you believe that you're not treated fairly and you're not getting what you need, and the person who destroy your furniture is at the house every day, and the police is not coming to arrest him, 2 weeks past, 3 weeks past, then you have the opportunity to call our acting senior superintendent, Damian Mandison, and the number is 876-832-9082. So you make sure that you have that number on speed dial and you call when it is necessary. So it's not the first person, let me reinforce that you call when something happen. If you have something that you need to tell the police that is happening within your space, not necessarily a report, so to speak, about something that is happening with you, but something that you see that you think is not something that should be happening within the space. Some criminal activities taking place. Get the Guns campaign. If you see where persons are hiding weapons within your community, if you see where persons are with weapons within your community, then you can call Acting Senior Superintendent Damian Mandison to say to him that I am seeing John Brown and this is the situation, and I reassure you that that information will be kept confidential. So he won't be calling John Brown and say that somebody from so and so told me that so and so. No, you won't hear that. That information will be kept confidential. So that is the stage where the JCF is at, whereby you get the chance to communicate with the head of your division, the head of your community. You get a chance to express yourself, not in open air, but with a one-on-one conversation about community development, because whether you believe it, yes or no, it's a part of community development. If it is that you don't help us, then we won't have a future, because I know and I believe with every fiber of my being that you know what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes from a civilian perspective, a human being perspective, you are sometimes scared that something might happen if you speak up. No, now is the time to speak up because we have measures in place. The Child's Month, it is saying that the motto is for is step up, speak out, protect our children rights. So we are protecting our children rights at this time by speaking up about some of the things that are taking place within your community. And that's a form of community development in your space, and the fact that you're helping the police to create Vision 2030, a place to live, raise family, and do business. All right, that's for our acting Senior Superintendent of Police, Damian Mandison. Now, it is going down now. We have what we call operations. No, I used to say that the police that you see dressing up in the denim, the blue uniform. So I can't say that anymore because if all of us, if not most at this time, we are changing what the uniform used to be. You will still see persons in the number one uniform. The commissioner of police is still working on our uniform in terms of the final stage of everything, because you would recognize that changes take time and it's a process. So we're going through that process of change as it relates to our uniform. So it's not something that is going to happen overnight, and it's a phase that we have to phase out some things and phase in some other things. So I won't say that the police that you're seeing in blue, because most, if not all of us, are wearing blue at this time. The number one uniform, which is the stripe, it's not fade out yet. You'll see a lot of persons wearing it still, because I have a few that I still need to wear that is not worn out. So from time to time, I will, until we fade them out. So that's what changes is all about. But the operations is mostly the police on frontline duty. What does that mean when we talk about the police on frontline duty? It means the police, or you see driving around in your community actively and operations to see that your community is kept, to reassure you that we the police are serving, protecting, and reassure you within the space. Now, the operations officer is none other than our Deputy Superintendent of Police, Mr. Donald Francis. Most person, if not all, within the St. Andrews South Division would have some encounters with Mr. Francis, DSP Francis. They would have spoken to him, especially the Duane Park community. The Duane Park community, Mr. Francis used to be the zone commander at the Duane Park space. He's now at Hunts Bay as the operations officer. His contact is 876-899-4716. That's 876-899-4716. Now, if you're having challenges within the space with the very police that is operating within your space on a day-to-day basis, you can always call Deputy Superintendent of Police, Mr. Donald Francis, on the matter. The number is 876, again, 899-4716. You can always call Mr. Francis to tell him some of the challenges, if any, and positives too. You can always report positive things about the police, because I'm sure it's not all challenges, negative challenges that you're having, but there are some positive effect that you would have gotten from the police. So you can always report on the police when you really get good policing. And from time to time, you do get good policing most of the time. Maybe 5% of challenges that you're having, which you can report. But nevertheless, the number is always available for our gazetted officer that you can speak with directly about any situation that you're having. Also, you can always call Mr. Francis if it is that you see men or women within your community who are with illegal firearms. You can always call about that. You look out for your neighbors. If you look and you see where there are suspicious activities taking place, then you can always call Mr. Francis to say that this is happening. The same thing as it goes for the noise within your space. If someone is doing something that is illegal or unethical and it is criminal, it's a criminal offense in your sight, and it's a form of not developing the community, then you need to partner with the police. DSP Francis is someone that you can call and speak with as it relates to same. If you believe that if you're talking to the police within the space and you believe that you're not getting enough from it. And of course, again, you can always call DSP Francis at 876-899-4716 and give any information you can in regards to what is taking place within your community. As remember that we the police serve, protect and reassure you the people of the St. Andrews South Division. Now, we have what we call our zone commanders. Zone commanders. When those are police terms, so I'm going to break them down in terms that you understand exactly what it is that the zone commander is all about. Now we have 3 zones. We have the zone 1, which is the Hunts Bay area. Zone 1. That is Hunts Bay area. Zone 1. Now, who is in charge of Zone 1? Inspector Marsh, who is the Zone 1 commander, who is responsible for that zone. That is the Hunts Bay station. Now, you want a number for, you go to the station, for instance, and upon going to the station, you believe that you are not getting what you want from the station. Then you have the opportunity to call Inspector Marsh, and then behind Inspector Marsh, you have Inspector Shaw, who is a female inspector, Inspector Shaw, which you're going to call as it relates to you going to the Hunts Bay station and you're not getting the service that you think you are in need of. So if you go to the station and you're not getting through with exactly what you need, then you need to call Inspector Marsh and say that I've been to the Hunts Bay station and this is the challenge that I'm having. Inspector Marsh is 876-789-6125. That's 876-789-6125. So Inspector Marsh is in charge of the zone. That's the entire Hunts Bay zone. So Alexander Road people, Bowtie Island, all of those people, the Greenwich Town area, all of those area. If it is that you are having challenges and you want to get to the zone commander, then Inspector Marsh, Sean Marsh, is the person who is in charge of that area, and his number is 876-789-6125. So if you're within that space and you're having challenges as it relates to what is happening within your space. Now, the station itself, who is the station manager, who you need to speak with when you go to the Hunts Bay station, and when you go, you believe, this is your concept, I am not being treated fairly. The police is sending me away to say that I need to go to Portmore and make a report. I need to go to Offertree and make a report because that didn't happen in my jurisdiction, so you can't stay here. Then you can call Inspector Shaw, who is the Hunts Bay station manager. Her number is 876-818-4597. That's 876-818-4597. And you can always tell Inspector Shaw that I arrive at Hunts Bay and I am not getting through. They're telling me that I need to go to offered you to make the report. The JCF doesn't operate like that anymore. It means that if the situation occur in Westmoreland and you want to make the report at Denham Town Station, you have that franchise to make the report at any station of your choice. So it doesn't mean that if it happened in Westmoreland, you don't necessarily have to go to Westmoreland, because sometimes some things happen in Westmoreland, but you're scared. You're scared to go back and make the report within that space. So the JCF will make provision for you to go where you're comfortable making the report. So, in other words, no police should turn you away to tell you that you can't make the report at this station, because it didn't happen here. No, that is incorrect. And if that is said to you, it is totally incorrect. So, if that is the situation, you can always call the station manager, which I just gave you the number for the station manager as it relates to your role and function as citizens and your need for the police to assist you as best as possible. And that it is for the zone one area, which I told you is the Hunts Bay space. And I would have given you the two persons who are in charge of that space and their numbers. So if it is that you are within those space, then you need to call those persons as it relates to that. Now, zone 2, think about zone 2. When you think about zone 2, we're talking about persons who report things to Seaview Garden Station, persons who report things to the Olympic Garden Station. Now, if you know that your station is Seaview Garden or Olympic Garden, that is what we call the zone 2 space. If you're having challenges when you make a report of any of these two stations, then the person who is the zone 2 commander for both stations is Assistant Superintendent of Police Randy Grant. Now, he is the person who manned that space, the both two spaces, zone 2, which is the Olympic Garden space and the Seaview Garden space. His number is 876-832-7370. That's 876-832-7370. He's the person that manned that space. And if you're having any challenges as it relates to that space and what is needed within, you need help. If you need help within that space, then you have the opportunity to call Assistant Superintendent of Police Randy Grant, and I would have given you the number. Now, the station itself, let's do the Olympic station. There is a station manager, and that person is Inspector Thompson, who is in charge of that station. If you are having challenges, then when you go to the station, you ask for her. You ask for her if you're having challenges within that space, and she will make sure that you get what it is that we, the police, need to provide as a service to you, the citizens within our space. Now, you would have recognized or by now that the JCF is diverting into something that is so accommodative for you to be, for your area to be well manned and policed by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we are putting things together to make sure that we reach Vision 2030, and that is what we're doing. As it relates to the Seaview Garden, we're still in Zone 2. Inspector Russell, who manned that post. So when you go to the Seaview Garden station and you realize that you're not getting through for more than one reason, then you can always ask for Inspector Russell at the station. If you believe that you're not getting enough from the police, you do have that opportunity to make sure that you get Inspector Russell and speak with him about the challenges that you're having by reporting something to the police at the Seaview Garden station. Upon arrival, if you believe that you are not being treated fairly, you believe that there are some injustice as it relates to you and what is happening with you, then you do have the opportunity to speak with Inspector Russell, who is the station manager for the Seaview Garden space. Now, these persons that's the zone 1 and the zone 2 area that we are talking about, and your role and function as citizens within the space. And if it is that you're having challenges within your community and you believe that you are not getting justice, according to some people, from the police, sometimes we believe that we're not getting justice, but the laws of the land make provision for sometimes the police action. So sometimes as citizens we may believe that we want it this way, but if you're not comfortable with the police, then the senior person will explain to you why sometimes it is happening this way instead of the way that you want it. Because in reality, we the police don't act on our thoughts or your thoughts. For instance, we act on laws and orders and policy of the JCF and the constitutional laws. So not because you want it this way, it mean that it's going to happen this way. And I'll give you an example. You want somebody to come out of your house. The person's living there, and you'll say that, but the person not paying light, water, or rent. No, this is not something that we, the police, can just come and decide that the person need to leave the house today. But you want them to leave today. And as much as how you want them to leave today, it is not possible for them to leave today or tomorrow. We don't sorry. We don't have that power to tell the person that they sorry, that they have to leave your house today. There is a process for them to leave, and that process is for you to serve them a notice to leave and give them a time to leave. So it's not a case whereby you decide that you don't want them there for more than one reason, or you're uncomfortable with them being there. And if you look at it from a natural perspective, if we put them out tonight, they don't have anywhere to go, then it's a problem for the state. What if when we put them out, something seriously happened to them? Then it's a problem for us. So provision is made for them to do otherwise. I'm going to come back with some more information that you need as it relates to the St. Andrews South Division. We'll take a break right now. We'll be right back. This is St. Andrews South Beat.
Oh, yeah. If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break,
St. Andrews South, St. Andrews South. Do you want to know what the police is doing for you in serving and protecting you, our valued residents? Then tune in to the St. Andrews South Beats this and every Thursday, 11 a.m. right here on Roots 96.1 FM. Join Commanding Officer Superintendent Kirk Ricketts and the dedicated officers at the St. Andrews South Police who will facilitate your questions and inquiries. That's the St. Andrews South Beat this and every Thursday, 11 a.m. on Roots 96.1 FM, the voice of the inner city.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is...
Welcome back once again. This is St. Andrews South Beat. you remember to listen live on rootsjamaica.com. Go follow us on Facebook at Roots FM Jamaica. Follow us on Instagram at Roots96.1 FM _ Jamaica and on Twitter at Roots _ 96 FM as we're working together for Vision 2030. Vision 2030 to create better communities and build Vision 2030 for making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and do business. We were actually giving you some very important information as it relates to the St. Andrews South Division, the commander who is in charge, the zone commanders who have their different zone portfolio and responsibilities, and their numbers that you can call when you're having, if and when you're having challenges or positive that you want to report on the police and your encounter with the police who serve, protect, and reassure the people of Jamaica. We would have tell you about the Zone 1, which is the Hunts Bay area. We would have given the information for the Inspector Marsh who manned the Zone 1. We would have given the information for the station manager, Inspector Shaw. Would have given the information for Olympic Garden, who is the Zone 2 commander, who is ASP, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Randy Grant. You would have given you that information along with the station manager, who's Inspector C. Thompson. So all of that you would have gotten. And we were explaining what it is that the laws of the land make provision for, and your function as customers and our function as police officer. Now we are still within the Zone 3. We have not touched that zone, and that's a large zone to cover, which is the Duane Park space. It's a large zone, the Plantation Heights area, the Marvelous space, New Haven, we have Drewsland, we have Pembroke, Patrick City. There are so much space. We have Brook Valley and so forth. We have so many space within that area that we have to cover. Now, that area, which is a large community and a mixture of culture within that community, and that area is really manned by our ASP, Mr. Dominic Gardner, who mans that space. Mr. Gardner, who is the zone commander for Zone 3, a very large zone for this police officer. But he's there and he's doing well and he's manning his ground. If you wish to communicate with Mr. Gardner, if you're having challenges within the Zone 3 space and you want to report or you want to talk about guns within the space, his number is 876-514-3013. That's 876-514-3013. No, he is the Zone 3 commander. He manned that space and he's in charge of that space. So whatever challenges, communicate with Sir Gardner. Again, 876-514-3013. Now, we have our station manager who is on vacation leave, who is Inspector Powell. Inspector Fabian Powell is in charge of that space. And he's on well-deserved vacation leave. He'll be back soon. So in his absence, you have somebody who is sitting in his chair, tentative until he resumes. And that person is yours truly. And of course, you can always call me when you have any challenges. My number is 876-536-8889. That's 876-536-8889. Always feel comfortable enough to call if you're having any challenges within the Zone 3 space. And that's the Duane Park space, 6 Mile, Plantation Heights, Marvelly, Drewsland, all of those areas, Pembroke, Patrick City. whatever challenge, it's a large zone to man, but we the police, we're trained, we have the resources, we have the ability, and we will function accordingly. So whatever challenges that you're having within that space, be sure to communicate with we the police within the St. Andrews South Division. We have other portfolio officers who the crime officer who is in charge of the CIB. Now, the crime officer is DSP Wade. He's the person who is in charge. If you go to CIB, murder, etc., all of that, you can always ask for him. We have the custody officer, which is the jail, the lockups area, which is Inspector Moore. So you can always communicate if you're having challenge. And the territorial officer, CSS, none other than Inspector Walters. And this program fall under CSS, and she's the inspector who is in charge of territorial, and she's always available and always making sure that all is well with the police and otherwise. And we thank her for that aspect of our policing. A very hard task, challenging, difficult, and persons might think it is not, but it is. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of movement. It's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of looking out for other persons, whether they're ill or otherwise, and make sure that their welfare is looked after. And that is a lot of things that it relates for one person and her team to be doing. And I say kudos to her and her team while they're doing community-based policing. It's more proactive policing, and it prevents a lot of things from taking place. And it takes a lot of intelligence and a lot of work to make sure that happen. And I always say to my police, because I would have done it before, and I'm very acquainted with it and other area of policing, and I can surely tell you that it's a lot of work when it comes to community-based policing. And we want to give her thanks for her hard work. I spoke with her today, and she was with a member who met in an accident and is not well, and she have to be up and down early morning, late nights, and early morning again, late nights, and putting things to make sure that we the police, as simple as we see it, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy, effort to put things in perspective from where she's sitting. Kudos to you, Inspector Walters and her team, as they work hard to make sure that we, the police, are well taken care of, and that is one of our portfolio as it relates to territorial officer. The one of the things that we need to recognize, I have spoken about the different areas and the different leaders, and I've given you their numbers. The traditional style of policing used in Jamaica and many other countries for many years has changed. It has changed. It has changed a lot. And we, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, have adapted to those changes. We are growing. We're growing rapidly. When you really look at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I think it's over 150 years of age, over, and to see where we're coming from to where we're at now, there are a lot of changes, a lot of development and positive development for the JCF and serving the citizen at large. The demands of our modern age requires that the police act in partnership with the public and with public, private and volunteer sectors organization to deliver collaborative service that address crime, fear of crime, and other safety issues which concern communities. And the JCF is really working on that aspect and growing into it. Community policing is central to the concept of community safety. The corporate strategy of the Jamaica Constabulary Force specifically mandates the employment of community policing in an effort to fight crime in Jamaica. So the JCF is going more proactive than reactive to make sure that we can save a lot of people in in a lot of things that is taking place. And there are so many things that they're putting together. And one of the things that the Jamaica Constabulary Force have put together is what we have the development of the JCF Connect. We have the ISO 9001. This is what am I talking about as it relates to the JCF Connect and the ISO 9001? This is something that the Jamaica Constabulary Force have put together to empower the people of Jamaica. When you think about ISO 9001, you wonder to yourself, what are they talking about as it relates to the ISO 9001 and the police themselves and what it is that they think. When you look at it, I think we're the first Caribbean police to take on the ISO 9001. And the question is, I give you a definition for the ISO 9001. It's really defined as an international standard that specifies requirements for a quality management system, which is the QMS. The JCF actually used this standard to demonstrate the ability to consistently provide products and service that meet customer requirements. You notice what the key word is: consistently. So it shouldn't be an on and off situation. It should be something that is done consistently. So if I'm working in the morning and I'm off, then the sub-officer who's taking over should actually follow these functions as it relates to maintaining the ISO standard. The Duane Park Police was one of the station that was still certified as an ISO 9001 station. The question is, what is the key concept of ISO 9001? The reality is the primary focus of the ISO 9001 standards is to meet customer requirement and strive to exceed customer expectation. A quality management system based on ISO 9001. It defines how the Jamaica Constabulary Force can meet the requirement of its customers and other stakeholders to promote the idea of continually improvement. Now, what are the 7 principles as it relates to that? The key quality management principle is customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, and relationship management. Now, that's a lot of things that we, the police, is saying that we are putting ourselves to make sure that we commit on all of this as it relates to same. So the ISO 9001 is it's something that the JCF want to acquire for all, not one, not two, but all the stations within the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And we have started and we are making changes. We have started with the Duane Park Police. We will be getting the Hunts Bay Police Station, the Seaview Garden Police Station, and the Olympic Gardens Police Station. Matilda's Corner Station is certified, the Commissioner Office, CIB HQ. So we have a lot of section that is already certified, tested, proven, and tried. And we have been certified as an ISO 9001. Now, this is something that we have to maintain, because if it is not maintained, then it can be withdrawn. And we work hard and make sure that we keep the certification of same. So it is important that we, the police, as we strive, we do exactly what we say we're going to give to the community. And what we say that we're going to give to the community is quality management principles. So we are saying that we want to give you good customer service and so forth. But with all of that said, you, the customer will have to also assist us to make sure that we are working together as partnership, and we welcome the inputs of our community as we shape the way forward together. And that is something that we want you to look at and recognize, that we really welcome the input of our communities as we shape the way forward together. And that is something that you have to recognize, that that's an important aspect of you coming into partnership with the police themselves. So that is something that we look forward to as it relates to that. The St. Andrews South Division continued to trust towards modernization and transformation of the Jamaica Constabulary Force as it set its sights on achieving the international standards of service delivery and operation with its implementation of the ISO 9001 quality management system. I explained it's already at the Duane Park station. We are looking forward for the Hunts Bay police station. We're looking forward for the Olympic Garden station, and we're also looking forward for the Seaview Garden station. We're putting things together so that we can create better partnership and relationship with the people within the St. Andrew South Division. Now, to get in all of those for the other station certification is an involved process. So it's a good process in thought. It will create some discomfort. That is a process of growth, appreciation, and the start of us analyzing things in a detailed way to come up with standards of everything we do. No, it's a process that is taking place. Changes, some person take time to adapt to changes. Once we get those standards, test those standards, and they start working, and we're delivering the standard that the St. Andrews South required of us, it is something that can be replicated at every station across the country, and that is the vision of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. A very great vision from the Commissioner of Police, and they are continuing to make sure that this vision is implemented right across the Jamaica Constabulary Force, every corner and step that we, the police, serve, protect, and reassure. We are putting everything together to make sure that we give what we say that we want to give to the community at large. And the St. Andrews South Division is one of the first division for all of our station to be certified, which is a good thing because it requires a lot of standard and principles that have to be maintained, have to put together. So these people internationally, we're saying to them that we, the police, are going to offer this to the community, and they're going to hold us accountable for what it is that we're telling the people that we're trying to offer them as police officer. So we're working studiously to make sure that happen with our Commissioner of Police. And needless I say, again, that the Jamaica Constabulary Force is the first police force in the region who seek to attain ISO 9001 certification, quality management certification. The Jamaica Constabulary Force was the first police force. Can you imagine? Jamaica people we're always brave people. We're always brave people trying to we always try to do what we have to do. And as police and our commissioner, they weren't afraid to really test the waters of this. Even with our challenges, we still put forward because they believe in their police. They believe in their police system. They believe that we can make changes, and we did. We have been on several police stations. We have been tried, tested, and proven. And hence we got certification as it relates to the ISO 9001. And we are still moving, and we are going to, and there's no doubt about it, by the time we have a vision, and before Vision 2030, I reassure you that all our police stations and portfolios and everything will be certified as it relates to the ISO 9001. And that is that is a vision that we have. And it's a great vision because there are principles and guidelines as it relates to how is it that we serve the citizens within the space. And we are presently working on it, and we have been certified, so it means that we're doing something that is doing well. And this is so as the Ministry of National Security would be the main gate for us to make sure that we venture on this great vision that the JCF is putting in place, and have make other things in place for that. And that's a good thing for the Jamaica Constabulary Force as we serve the people of Jamaica. The adoption of the technology is a key element of the Vision 2030, and the JCF is I don't know if persons or you remember where the Jamaica Constabulary Force, we had this technology expo at the national arena. And if you weren't there, then you can Google us, because we're still on Google platform, where the Jamaica Constabulary Force with our now commissioner who have headed that technology aspect of it. And you see where the Jamaica Constabulary Force, we're not just police officer driving around with firearms. We have technology at its best. We have a lot of things within the JCF. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have teachers, we have nurses. We have a lot of things in the JCF. We use sciences in technology, our lab, our forensic lab, etc. And the things that we have. And we went and we did an expo, and we show off. We show off with our now commissioner who who led that expo. Great expo. Sorry, if you missed it, go back to YouTube and search for that aspect of the JCF Expo, and you will see what you would have missed. So, in other words, when a conversation comes up and you want to talk about the JCF technology at its best, then you are able to speak on that aspect of it, because you have the ability to speak on same. So that is it as it relates to the technology aspect of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And that is in the Jamaica Constabulary Force is one of the largest police service in the Caribbean. We are with over 13,000 police officers serving a population of almost 3 million, and will become the second force after the London, England, to use another system, which is a Connect, which I'll tell you more about. We don't have the time to tell you about our next system, which is a Connect system. But we'll tell you more about that, because I will have to go because our time has ended. Nevertheless, we thank Roots 96.1 for making it St. Andrews South Beat. Thank to Isis, who's always here, for making it St. Andrews South Beat. I am your host, Tanya Lane, Sergeant of Police. This is St. Andrews South Beat.
Oh.